Cool. We're just
Continue the story.
Okay, we're just going live now in the middle of this. Okay, 15 seconds early. All right, cool. So what was I talking about? Okay, yes. So when you
were a wee baby gothling.
Yes, when I was twas but a gothling, it was harder to get like your like cool goth shit where I was growing up. So I was mostly just in like the black jeans, black t-shirt, situation.
See, all of my like
and or
cool
like
goth
heavy metal
shit
t-shirts
was like self-created. Like even then I was going to thrift stores like and just smashing things together until I liked them.
Oh, I mean, I was sitting at thrift stores. I mean, hey, the trench coat that I had for many years and that I wore because I was that kid in high school. I got it was actually a quite nice trench coat that I got for $5 at a Goodwill.
Nice.
And there was a period where I was wearing that shit all of the time, even in the middle of goddamn summer.
Yeah,
because. But thing is that it was hard to get your goth paraphernalia, if you will. So I was sort of limited in my choices, and was not able to was not able to go further afield to acquire them. So however, two things happened surreptitiously around the same time. Rather, just to say one thing particularly was they opened up a Hot Topic in Morgantown.
Oh God, they were overpriced.
But you see though, I had an in because my aunt worked at Hot Topic. She was a manager at Hot Topic, a regional manager, and in fact, she opened the one in my hometown. And she was also partially in charge of their, what was at the time, their item destruction. For a long time, Hot Topic would not actually put anything on sale. They would literally just destroy merchandise when it had been in stock too long. So literally she would just hook me up with either her employee discount if it was on the rack, or would just give me free shit if I wanted it and it was going to get destroyed anyway.
We're going to dumpster these anyways, and they locked the dumpster, so here's stuff.
Right. So I suddenly had access to a much more ready supply of goth paraphernalia, except that because then there was this Hot Topic in my hometown. Now, suddenly, it was everywhere. Suddenly, everybody and their brother was suddenly like rocking the chains and the spikes and the goth t-shirts and everything and the dark makeup. And at that point, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Because you were into it before it was cool.
I'm just saying I was.
So you were a hipster goth, is what you're saying.
I was in it before it was going. Now everybody's doing it. I don't want to do this anymore. No, I'm
just
okay.
Did you have trip pants at any point?
So actually, no, I did not. I had many friends with trip pants. I never really did trip pants. I never really enjoyed wearing them.
No, they're awful to wear.
I know. I had some very baggy pairs of jeans.
It was the 90s.
Never went full trip pants.
Yeah.
Nisa exclusively wore trip pants in high school when we met.
Incredible.
I mean, Nisa could get away with like anything though, and it wouldn't look ridiculous.
I mean, much like you, Heather, her trip phase was largely brought on by the fact that she is like a 6 foot tall Brazilian woman and was tired of people commenting on parts of her body.
Yeah, it was like 13 to 14 was my first one where it was just baggy everything and like black lipstick and please go away. And then as all of those clothes started to age, I started like cutting them up and they'd like have strategic holes. And I had a lot of belts that like I just turned into bracelets that went pretty far up my arm. And then eventually like it was like, well, this isn't stopping people from sexualizing me, because I used to get comments about leaving rings of black on, mind you, I'm like 14, 15. And there were I was just like, all right, fine, if you're gonna keep sexualizing me, I'm gonna do it myself on my terms. And it's so funny because most of the harassment stopped once I upped the intimidation level enough that they were like, you're too sexy and you appear to know it. And I was like, yeah. So I got what I wanted. I just had to sexualize myself in order to get it. Which is sad.
Ain't life grand?
Sad.
But hello everyone out there in Streamland. Thank you for tuning in to our story about being goth in high school. This is live from the apocalypse, where we play tabletop role-playing games to benefit various nonprofits and other aid organizations. We just ask that if you like what you see here, and we always hope that you like what you see here, that rather than giving us like subscriptions or bits or any of that other Amazon Jeffy B corporate script stuff, that you take that money and you donate it directly to the causes that we are fundraising for. This stream is raising money for the First Nations Development Institute, which is an excellent nonprofit that is working to restore economic independence to Indigenous communities. So if at any point during the stream you type !donate, the bot will post the link, like I think it just did, and you can donate and both make the McElroy brothers shout at us and interrupt whatever very important scene we were having at that moment, and also it'll make our little luck ticker go up. Doing pretty good right now, sitting pretty at a 5, actually more than we usually have in the pool. I held people hostage last game.
We're saving them for Billy.
Yes.
We cannot
if anything happens to Billy,
it's true. I was going to ratchet down the difficulty of this encounter because I forgot that Billy only had 2 Pokemon. I thought Billy had the whole team. But then we got 5 luck in the pool, and I thought, why not? Let's let this ride, shall we? But before we get to all that, why don't we introduce ourselves? Will, do you want to start us off?
Sure, it'd be my pleasure. Hello, my name is Will, one of the storytellers and the organizers here at Live from the Apocalypse, and I play Julian Rue. This guy over here, he is an ex-Team Rocket member turned chef, and he is grumpy and tired, and he does not understand what is going on. So right now he's doing okay, but he's not doing great. And when I'm not playing Julian Rue, you can find me doing a bunch of other stuff here on the channel. I run and edit our Masks Actual Play podcast, Academy H. We had a new episode come out on Sunday, which is very good. Check it out. And the next episode, which will be out this Sunday, is incredible. Probably the best episode we have released so far. So definitely come back and check that out. Play the Scottish guy in Cryptid Community College, our Monster of the Week podcast, and I run a bunch of other stuff on the channel like Class Reunion and the Madigans currently, and I'm playing in Elbow tomorrow night, the final episode of our Wildcard Wednesday game, the Eldritch Lady Badasses of Wrestling. It is a Call of Cthulhu game set in the 1980s about badass lady wrestlers, as you may have interpreted. And shit got wild last time. We need a whole episode to wrap things up. So check it out tomorrow night. It's a good time. We have a lot of guests who are very, very excellent, and it's good. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the last episode of Elbow. Otherwise, that's what we got going on currently. And that is it for me.
Hi, I'm Heather. I play Estelle East, who is I'm going to go with Chaos Granny is probably the best descriptor for her. Estelle's main motivations are essentially protecting her not children, protecting Pokemon, and corporate. No, what did we decide? Ecoterrorism? Yeah.
Ecoterrorism, yeah.
So Estelle is trying to save her beloved island that her family has lived on for generations. And now she's not doing great because one of her not kids is in danger, and she might burn everything down again. She already did that once for Julian, and there's only so much more I can burn down. Other than this, I also play Stan Takachik on Cryptid Community College, which we call C3. It's one of our podcasts that is currently available. I suggest you guys, or all of you, go out and listen to it because we're getting ready to record season 2, I think, pretty soon here. So you want to catch up before we do. Other than that, theoretically, I handle our Twitch. I'm sorry, not our Twitch, our TikTok channel, which I have to get back into. And now that the winter months have abated, yeah, that seems like an energy I have now. So that'll be soon. That's it for me.
Hi, y'all. I'm Liz. I play Billy, our psychic himbo gym leader, who is going to test tonight if hope and happiness can overcome Eldritch Horror. It will be a good test of that. I also play Ravenna in the Madigans, which is this Sunday, I believe. So you should check that out as well. And that's it for right now.
Oh, right. Okay, that's me. Hey, everybody. I'm ready for this stream. Hey, it's Brendan, your game master, your architect of befuddlement and misery. That is what I do here on the stream. I honestly, I was about to say that I say unhinged things and the players react to it, but increasingly that's just kind of what I do in all of the games on this channel. Whether I'm a player or a GM, no matter what game I'm playing and what character I'm playing and what role I'm playing, I say unhinged things and people react. That's my job. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. When I'm not game mastering missing numbers, I am playing Alex Sandowski, aka Victory, over on our Masks Actual Play podcast, Academy H. And I also, yes, I was the GM for Cryptid Community College, our Monster of the Week podcast. That season 1 is out in its entirety. There's going to be a little bit of content coming out between season 1 and 2 and that will be ready when I do it. And then we're probably going to start recording season 2 sometime soon, asterisk. And I think that's about it for me.
The LFTA brand is kind of a like a constantly shifting thing. Like for a while there, we were very much, the nostalgia game channel, and then increasingly, we've been shifting more into like the feral, unhinged, horny game channel. And I
like
blame
to think
JD mostly, but
in the circles, I feel like we're in the Gremlin Center.
solidly Gremlins, yeah, which I'm very happy about. But
so
anyway.
Indeed. Well, to get started then. just Will putting JD on blast.
We're just saying it's the flavor, it's the spice that you add to all of our games.
It really depends on who is most active. For a while there, Liz was doing a million things, and at that point we were doing like nostalgia properties, and now JD is doing a million things, and it's unhinged and feral.
Yeah, it's true. I'm still sad that we didn't get to continue our pupper TTRPGs.
Gone but not forgotten.
It is a warm evening in Esper Bay. The green mercury vapor streetlights are just starting to flicker on for the night. And Billy, you are running late for your shift at the gym. You don't think that it's going to be like a huge deal. Greg seems pretty chill as a boss, all things considered. But still, it's like your second week, and it's just not the way you like to do things. And why, as you are skidding up to the front door, initially hoping that you might be able to sneak in without anyone noticing, you come face to face with somebody who is approaching the front door of the gym and putting his hand on the handle.
Hi, are you coming into the gym?
Oh, what? Oh, hey, sorry, didn't see you there. Yeah, no, sorry, I was coming here to just to see what see what this Esper Bay gym is all about. You know, I hear things about it, and I'm just, you know, out here trying to make the rounds through the region. You know, on that grind, trying to get to the league.
Oh, well, yeah. You can come on in. I actually work here, so
Oh,
I'll happy to show you around.
Oh, okay. He is sort of a medium height, dark hair, sort of a black denim jacket with trainers and a growlithe sitting down behind him. Hey, I'm Jack. Nice to meet you. And then as he sort of you know, extends his hand and looks at you and kind of puts two and two together. After what you had told him, he just kind of squints at you and says, don't, no offense, but don't tell me you're who I'm facing tonight.
Oh, I mean, maybe. I just got started, so I don't exactly know the order. I still think I'm kind of in training, but I don't know. We'll have to let Greg decide.
Well, let's hope it's a good match.
Yeah.
And he opens the door, holds it for you, and gestures inside.
Oh, thank you. I don't know.
And as you head inside, stepping out of the iridescent, electric, neon rain and into the broken, shattered interior of the gym, vine-like cables winding and snaking over everything. A dead place in a dead city on a dead world. And ascend the stairs into the arena. You come face to face with the trainer, you guess. The young boy, it looks like. In the red cap, yellow galoshes, blue jacket. And he just smiles.
Do I have that memory in my head as I like? Does Billy have that memory as he's walking up,
You
or
do.
is that more just a parallel? Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of parallel, but it does sort of occur to you out of nowhere as you're walking in.
Kind of like a faint, like distracted look in Billy's eye, like he's trying to like pin down something that's kind of fuzzy in his memory, and then shakes it off. And, well, I guess I'm here to finish our battle. Well, I guess we can get started. Um, I think because we're in the gym, this follows regulations. So if you could use like Pokemon and not like people, because I feel like that's a thing you have access to, that would be good.
He just reaches behind him and withdraws a Pokeball and sort of just holds it out expectantly.
I think Billy's shoulders start to get really hot, and we just see like a tiny little fuzzy red, like kind of Pikachu-esque but not quite face poke out over her shoulder, and just this faint like as Tum Tum, having been a former Eldritch Horror or converted back from one, is not a fan.
Can Brendan do the voice again?
Oh yeah, I guess it's much deeper.
Ohonokuma.
Oh, Tum Tum, you wanna start off? This is pretty intense fight, but I mean, I guess it's just the three of us. So if you want to give it a shot, bud, go ahead.
Kuma.
My little Pika Red is gonna hop off my shoulders and wander out onto the battlefield.
And as you do so, the trainer pulls back his arm and throws the Pokeball into the ring. Its light coalescing into this tall, skeletal figure. And if you want to take us into battle, Will, if you don't mind dropping in the Kabutops fossil looking one that I dropped the other day.
I like how you didn't say just Kabutops.
No Kabutops fossil. Yeah. Funnily enough, the reason why I chose this particular artwork for these three Pokemon that he's got is actually they are to date the only art of glitch Pokemon that have yet been done by an artist who has officially worked on the Pokemon franchise.
Huh.
They are not official Pokemon artworks, as they do not officially acknowledge the existence of glitch Pokemon. But it is art done by someone who has worked on the Pokemon franchise, so that is the closest thing we are ever going to get.
Sorry, yeah, I thought I had this queued up, but apparently not. There we go.
Oof.
All right, I'm gonna roll off first round.
Yep. Four for me.
Right. We actually here do it this way. That's going to make a little bit more sense.
Just checking that was a D12 and not a D20 real quick.
That it was in fact a D12. I did debate about doing it just to see the reaction that I would get, but I did not feel like being so cruel.
Good.
I mean, he's a glitch trainer. He doesn't play by the rules.
Speaking of not playing by the rules or manipulating the rules, do we still have that whole point, fan point thing manipulation we did to cheese Julian's sister? Is that still a thing?
There's guidance, I think.
Yeah. I'm asking as a person sitting on like 21,000 experience, just for reasons.
Yeah. There's a lot. Does that still work, Brendan? Is that a thing?
I think I am going to be sticking to the luck points in this fight.
How dare you?
Yeah, Justin, fucking grip it.
Oh, and speaking of luck
Right.
points, thank you so very much, Will's mom.
One for the
Thank you,
big
Will's
one.
mom.
We do appreciate your support on the stream as always. It is always great when you show up.
Thanks.
MVP.
Thanks, Will's mom. And hey, we can bump that luck ticker up one
Oh,
more.
we sure can. Thought I
Mhm.
did.
We should probably call Karen by her name instead of Will's mom, because it makes
But
me
it's
feel
so
like
much
we're
fun to say
13.
thanks, Will's mom.
Yeah,
I know,
I'm
I
pretty
feel
sure
like
she
I'm
prefers the
A high
thanks,
schooler
Will's mom.
coming over, and she just like made, I don't know, tater tots or something.
I'm
too.
pretty sure that's what she likes about it.
That's why she keeps coming back.
Yeah.
And in this stream, if we say best mom, it's way more impactful or best parent than when we said it in the Madigans, because that was a much lower bar. There
That's
are
true.
actually good parents in Missing Numbers canon.
It's
As
true.
opposed, yep.
I mean, I don't think any of well, Billy has good parents.
Yeah, it's like there's at least two.
There's Billy.
At least two. Well, although is one of them canceled out by his terrible grandpa?
I don't think so. I like to think terrible extended family do not cancel out half decent like closer family
Okay.
for reasons.
They're not like a, fungal form connected into a colony.
Yeah,
like
just
they're
fucking
actually
grip it,
separate
baby.
entities.
And thank you,
Slop
and
that
thank
down,
you
dude.
so much to
Yeah, dude.
Forest
Crack one for
Sight
the big
Thank you so
for
much.
the donation.
Thank you.
Dang.
We're bumping. All right.
Appreciate
All right.
you.
Juicing
I
that
love
luck
it.
pool.
I love the support for Billy.
Mm,
He is truly our
juicing that luck pool. I
cinnamon
see. We are truly going to Nephilim this boss fight.
roll. No one.
Yeah,
No one
I would
fucking
have to go back
cares.
and look, but I do feel like there's maybe an exploit of putting Billy in severe danger has paid off pretty well for this game.
Yes.
Like I was saying,
100%.
man, I should hold you guys hostage more often.
Really, it's just Billy. Like we're all willing to let Estelle.
I don't know. We got a good bit of support when I put you guys in danger last time.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
real test is going to be, because in the final fight of Nephilim, we used every single luck point
All
that was
right.
in the thing. So
You
we got to see
gotta.
if we can get through it all.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. In the meantime,
Challenge has been accepted.
you're trying to get a bead on this Pokemon. And it does. You realize that it looks like a Pokemon that you have seen in textbooks before, and you think that there are some resurrected examples of it, but this isn't that. This is like a museum specimen. This is like a skeleton in a lab that nonetheless is moving around like it's alive. And as it does in its sort of unnaturally jerky movements, you notice all around the arena these sort of refracting points of light, these almost kind of sharpened pixels decohering from the scenery around you. And that was its move.
Okay. Cool. Tum-Tum, I don't know what it did, but let's just take the opportunity to try and hit it. Let's just go for a Fire Fang, buddy. And yeah, D8 and a D6.
A 7 or a 1?
That is a 1, unfortunately.
I know, yeah, that one, the green die set is really hard to tell them apart for some reason.
So that is a 5.
That will hit.
Okay, good. So yeah, that's Fire Fang, so just damage, but Honoguma just launches forward with little flames coming out of its mouth and like jumps up onto this thing and just starts kind of like nomming on the top of it with little fiery teeth.
And it does seem
Honoguma.
Honoguma. And it does seem like it is working. The skeleton is staggered backwards, and you can see sparks coming off of it as the heated jaws of Honoguma make aggressive contact with its petrified, ossified, no, it wouldn't be ossified. Those are literally two opposite things. It was bone and it became stone, so it's the opposite of ossification. It would in fact just be petrification. I'm sorry. This has been your vocabulary hour for the evening. I don't know what I'm saying. Words are coming out of my mouth. The point is, what I'm trying to get at is there are a bunch of sparks. There's a whole bunch of sparks going just everywhere from this fight.
I think the scientific term is yassification. I think that's what you're looking for.
I feel like we wouldn't have even noticed, but I think you would have like stayed awake tonight and been like, "Why did you use the wrong word?"
But I would have hated myself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the important thing.
And it's good because we fixed it now. You can sleep easy.
Indeed. Truly, I will sleep the sleep of the just. However, you do notice that Honoguma seems to be staggering a little bit slowed. And you notice that it looks as though Honoguma has been sort of scratched up by these sharpened pixels that are hanging in the air. You almost don't see them in a three-dimensional way. They almost appear like they're on the background of your eyes until you stare at them like a magic eye picture, and they sort of slowly push into the foreground of your existence. But the long and short of it is that Honoguma's toughness has been reduced by 1 by these stealthy rock-like pixels.
Okay.
All right, roll off for round 2.
Here. 3.
Oh.
Get fucked.
The initiative is yours. Seize it. Okay. He's taking like 1 damage. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I mean, we've done it before.
Yeah,
okay. You know what? That's fair. I thought that Toxtricity fight was going to be a lot tougher than it was, and you just, yeah. And then it wasn't. That was the long and short of it. It wasn't. You were never in any real danger.
No, it happens to us all, Brendan. You don't need to be worried about it.
I'm not worried. I'm just salty.
You're just salty. It's okay. The salt is spite that you can sprinkle on us later at the last episode.
Well, I gotta do it through a wall of 7 luck, so my work's cut out for me.
Tum, I think you actually caught it off guard with that. Why don't you try and don't be afraid to play a little rough. We're gonna use play rough. That is a D8 and a D4. That is a number I can't see in a 1. So I'm gonna assume
it looks like it's an 8 total. I believe it's a 7 and a 1 looks like.
So that is there we go. So yeah, that's an 8.
Yep.
So that is an additional damage.
Okay.
And I think Honoguma is still like kind of crawled up on top of this thing's head, and now it's just doing these adorable little like smack punches back and forth on the like big head of the Kabutops, just like a little as it's knocking its head back and forth with its tiny little hands.
Yeah, and it's sort of just kind of staggering from side to side as its jerky motions, its awkward anatomy, make it so that it's not used to this, especially with Honoguma. True to the name of the move, playing a little bit rough and kind of hooking its hands into the empty eye sockets of the skull and using that as leverage. A bit unsportsmanlike, if you ask me, but.
I'm sorry, he hooks his paws into where?
The empty eye sockets.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Listen, it says it right there in the title, folks. Eldritch Horror.
See again, I say unhinged shit and people react.
The visual
and you didn't want tiny adorable creatures doing
horrific
war crimes. You picked the wrong stream.
True, we do a lot of war crimes.
Hey, I did specify that the eye sockets were empty. It's like we're not talking about like an eye gouge or anything. No, it's like he's just doing a little 3 Stooges on the skeleton, you know.
And there's nothing wrong with messing around inside an empty skull.
No, that's fine. That is perfectly legal as far as I'm aware.
If it were occupied, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's also illegal. Just. We're not going to get thrown off Twitch, but that's illegal. No one do that.
And at last, the
JD trying to pass on the torch.
and at last, the skeleton manages to in this sort of whirling motion, swipe Honoguma off of its skull and down into the dirt of the arena. And as it does so, the dust that it kicks up seems to sort of hang in the air, not so much forming like a mist or anything, but just these clouds sort of rising into the air from their battle and then just stopping, as if gravity has ceased to work on them. And it's obscuring Honoguma's field of vision. Honoguma is going to take a damage and a -1 to their accuracy.
Okay. But that is a physical hit, presumably.
That is, it was a physical move. Oh, that's right, because Honoguma's got that spicy
Yep.
tum.
Yep, flame body. So it's in the game. It's a 30% chance. So I figured that was probably what we were doing here, where like any hit, you have a 30% chance. So do you want me to roll a d6?
Oh yeah, give me a d6.
And then 5 or 6.
5 or 6, yeah.
It is burnt.
Burnt.
Okay.
All right,
So
not
no
burnt
burn.
this time.
I should actually see what that does.
Burn what? Burn? They take wound penalties like people do.
All right. All right. New round.
New round. Yep.
Take it.
Yeah.
Okay, Honoguma, that didn't seem to work as well. Why don't you go back to the Fire Fang? Try for that again. And Honoguma's gonna try and use its fiery teeth. That's a D8 and a D6 with a -1 penalty. Cool. 4. So 9.
All right.
Oh,
yeah.
that -1 doing a lot of work right
Yep.
now.
That -1 making the difference between a crit and a not crit.
All right. Well, that's still a wound from some. Again, just jumps right back up onto its face, and he's fighting away again. With flaming teeth.
Honoguma cracks open its skull and begins drinking from the nectar within.
No, see, it can't do that because, as I said, it's been petrified. It's been fossilized. It's stone now, and as you know, as we all know, you cannot get blood from a stone.
There it is. I was waiting for that.
I'm just saying.
Just saying.
I'm just saying that's not the idiom.
Just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Fantastic. I'm pretty sure the dice roller is Team Billy as well, at least.
Yeah. Seems like. I don't know. You got a lot of luck points. Am I allowed to use any of that? I'm kind of a player, right?
No,
Absolutely not.
I don't think so.
I'm just saying the only reason that you have that much luck in the pool is because I keep threatening you. So in a way, I feel like I have a small claim of ownership to it.
I think we determined that it could be given to either the players or the GM, because I'm pretty sure Andy got some at one point and used them against the player.
Well, that's in Veil Breakers. This is missing numbers. I don't want to cross the streams.
I think you had to specify too. I think the donator had to be like, "This is for the DM. Wreck them, please." The puns are getting out of hand. Please make them stop.
So fresh round?
Yeah, so the skeleton is trying to parry Honoguma's attacks, sparks continuing to fly off of it with each blow as they dance around the arena through these hanging clouds. And as these clouds are pushed together, they form almost shapes in the low light coming from outside. Neither day nor night nor evening, just a perpetual gloomy twilight from all directions. It reminds you in a way of the beach on a dreary day. There's surf crashing on the rocks all along the coast of Cinnabar Island. Way off the beaten path, way far away from the tourist beaches. A young kid is scrabbling over the rocks, just in a straight line, determined. The sharp edges cut his hands, and his sneakers have been scraped to ribbons. His legs burn from hiking for so long. His clothes are soaked through from where he's fallen in the rising tide. His legs burn from the exertion. He's sweating. But he's determined. He's obsessed. All of his friends have rare Pokemon. He's the only one who doesn't. But he's heard that if you take this rocky road, if you go up and down the coast of Cinnabar enough, that one might appear. And as he climbs up on top of a barnacle-encrusted boulder and looks out into the fading light, he gets his wish. Okay, want to go and roll off? Ooh.
That's a 13.
I'm sorry, I just saw we're not allowed to make any more cults until we finish the first one.
We still haven't brought the lobster cult to dominance, and therefore we're not allowed to make any more.
That's not even technically the first cult we've started.
I know. That's why we have the rule. We can't keep making cults and then not finishing the first one.
But I gotta ask, what constitutes finishing a cult?
I can tell you exactly. Every
According to
person,
my game. Yeah, go ahead.
Every person who played in Della's Dresden Files game, where we were a literal cult, has to get the tattoo that like half of us have gotten.
Yeah.
Okay, that is better than what I was thinking. Moving on.
Yeah, that's grading on the curve of cults. That's a pretty reasonable exit strategy.
But it will never happen because Della's sister has told us repeatedly that she will not get the tattoo.
I've been playing a game called Honey, I Joined a Cult. Go ahead.
I think I get to go first, right? I got a 13.
Oh, but I got an 11. Oh no, that's right. You did.
That's
That's
right,
right. You
I got
aced
11.
because you aced. Yes, you speak accuracies.
And the two ways the cult can end is like you summon a hell beast. I'm sorry, 3. All of your cultists die, or the FBI raids you. So,
yeah,
I feel like the tattoo is probably the safe way to go.
How is this thing looking? For a bone glitch monstrosity.
I mean, it is hard to tell. It's some of its carapace is blackened from where Honoguma has landed its fiery blows upon it. And it could be staggering, or that could just be its perpetually forward leaning, skittering motion.
Okay. Then I think we're just gonna do keep the same thing, but as this battle has gone very different. Like normally Billy doesn't ever or very rarely goes first, and certainly it's not like the pressure. So you think as you're seeing this, and as these fire, which is also not common to any of Billy's Pokemon, as these fire attacks keep piling into this thing, there's also like a change in Billy's posture. He's standing a little bit like more forward and almost in a more aggressive stance than he normally stands. And it oddly kind of mirrors what little bit we saw of the posture of the boy from the gym in that like brief flashback. As Billy just yells out at Tum Tum, "Pile it on! You got him pushed back. Keep going. Do another Fire Fang. Burn him up." And we're gonna try for that again. Oh, there's a -1 in there, so that is a 5.
It does still hit though.
Okay, it's another wound.
All right, how does that look?
I think the face is sufficiently charred, and like Tum Tum has now like is on one of the like arms and just is continuing to like it's like almost like the cartoon animation of like a beaver going through a log, like that, like it's just like little crawling all over this thing with little fiery teeth, just chomping in everywhere it can get its teeth in. That's just unnecessary. It was already unnecessary before the 8th.
I'm sorry. It doesn't. I don't think the rules say that you may roll again. I'm pretty sure the rules say you do roll again.
Cite your sources.
Citation needed. Actually, double check what that move does. Okay. All right. Very cool. It almost seems to go on all fours and tackles Honoguma in this series of savage strikes with its forelimbs and its hind claws. It is pure. It is pure primordial savagery, hearkening back to some atavistic ancient power. And Honoguma takes 2 wounds. And the skeleton also, upon breaking off the assault, appears invigorated by the experience.
Real quick, is I always forget, is it you click the 3, is the 3rd wound what knocks you out, or the 4th for a standard Pokemon?
I thought it was 4th.
It's the 3rd.
It's the
3rd, yeah.
Okay, so I would like to burn my first luck point to neutralize that.
So do we have it neutralize a wound, or do we have it just negate the hit entirely?
I thought it just negated that one move, like that one hit.
Okay, well that's fine. Cool. All right, so Honoguma still standing.
Yeah, and can I still roll for the chance to burn because it was a physical hit that Honoguma just takes?
Yeah, you used luck. I'm not going to penalize you for using luck, I guess. It's fine.
Well, it didn't matter.
No.
But yeah, I think this thing like slams into Honoguma, and it sounds like a heavy hit, and then Tub is just standing there like pressed against it, like it's like done the slide back on the ground thing, but then it's just standing there. And is it a new turn? Yeah.
Yes, new turn.
I'll roll for that before narrating anything else. Well, that's the thing. If I burn a luck point just to get knocked out a round later, I'm going to be slightly upset.
Well, you could burn a luck point to re-roll initiative if you wanted.
It's a better investment to just disregard a hit if you do enough to knock it out than it is to try and roll higher than a 7 with an D8.
Fair enough.
Stop it.
What is being done?
It is still just a single crit. And what it does is that you see this skeleton sort of rear up, and once again, almost like you're looking at one of these magic eye paintings. It's like the background sort of retracts in around it. The combination of the lengthening shadows and the burn marks on it from Honoguma's attacks almost makes the entirety of its body seem pitch black, covered in this almost obsidian lacquer. And suddenly all of that retraction releases, snapping back like a rubber band, and these shards of shadow leaping off of its bony body in all directions in a pulse of darkness for 1 wound and causing Honoguma to flinch.
So mine's 2. Alright. I think this hit like kind of knocks Honoguma down, and then it gets up, and like, despite its adorableness, it is pretty temperamental. And as it stands up and like stares down this big bony thing, you hear it start to like growl again as it just gets angrier and angrier, and like heat starts to emanate off of it, like literally filling the room, and almost looks like a glow of red kind of energy around it. And it's going to run up and try and use that heat to tackle into this thing using Burn Up. There's a D8 and a D6 with an, unfortunately, a -3. That is still a 6.
It does still hit. Just barely, but it gets there.
And that is 2 wounds, but deactivates Flame Body.
It deactivates Flame Body, okay. Like, it uses it up, basically.
Yeah, so it slams in for an additional wound as it pulls out all this heat. But then as it kind of like bounces off of it, it like that heat kind of dissipates, and it looks kind of like winded, and also like almost the red tone in its fur is like a little bit muted, as it doesn't have that kind of like heat emanating off of it. Like, it's cooler.
And as it does so, sort of panting from the exertion, you can see through the haze of the heat that is still hanging in here that the skeleton is in blackened, broken pieces on the ground before pixelating and returning like a miasma into its Pokeball.
Good job, Tum Tum. That's one down. Good job, buddy.
You have a brief respite. Not sure what is going to be coming next, what to expect. You feel the heat from Honoguma's last attack just on your skin. Everything is too dry in here. Your mouth is parched. Can I get you a drink? You look over your shoulder, and Jack is standing next to you down on the boardwalk. He looks like he is up. It just got to the front of the line at the frozen lemonade stand, and just flagged you down.
Oh, yeah, a lemonade would be great. Thank you.
He brings it over to you, hands it to you. Your fingers brush very briefly, just for a second. That was a heck of a match earlier.
Thanks. I'm starting to figure out this whole Pokemon thing, I think.
I think you're being too modest. I you know, I'm sorry. Can I be a jerk for a second?
Yeah, sure.
I thought going in that this was going to be a cakewalk. I said I'd heard about your gym. To be honest, I hadn't heard that it was a real tough sell. Was kind of hoping I could get some easy points on my trainer card before heading up to Unova. But you know, I was is it weird to say I was pleasantly surprised? Like I know I still won, but like I had a good time. Is that what I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm being a jerk right now. I didn't shoot.
No, it's fine. No, I had a good time too, and I'm very new at this, so I didn't think it would go that well. It was fun.
I'm glad to hear it. So you said your name was Billy?
Yeah, Billy.
So how'd you end up with the gym?
Oh, my mom put in a lot of time there, a long time ago, when I didn't want to spend as much time on the farm. It's kind of the only option. There's not a lot going on here, so you got kind of limited options.
What's it like growing up on the farm? I know that probably seems like a really silly question, but like, I grew up in the city, so like I grew up in a crowded apartment building. We had a little garden box on our window, to barely keep anything alive in it. So like the idea of growing up like surrounded by land where there's like no people and just nothing but trees, nothing but plants. Like I don't know what's that like.
Yeah, it can be nice. It's not always the most exciting, but Pokemon get to run free, and that's really nice. You get to just really see them enjoy themselves. I could show you around if you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah, that I think I'd like that.
Yeah, I think I would too. We can head that way now.
From the clouds in the center of the arena, you suddenly hear this screeching roar, almost like something a machine would make, like grinding gears, more so than the cry of a Pokemon. And with a tremendous flapping of wings, all of the dust and sparks and heat are cleared away, and you are facing down another skeletal creature, this one with a draconian head and two large, you guess you would call them wings. They have no flesh on them, yet somehow they are keeping it aloft.
See what this thing looks like.
Oh, it's so tiny.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, first of all, that's rad as hell. That is a great design.
Yeah, no, I said, hey, it's actually done by I forget the artist's name, but yeah, he's one of the actual artists for the Pokemon series. It was just like a tweet that he did a while back.
The Kabutops one is cool, but it's also like pretty much the same shape. Like that twist on like even the like design and posture is very cool.
Yes, yeah. The figure work on it is very different, and you don't usually, it's almost like it is actually like grounded, and you almost never see that in Aerodactyl's art. Aerodactyl was just constantly airborne. Well, anyway, it's time to fight it, so...
All right, Tom, let's see what we can do with this one, too. Seven.
And yeah, wow, that 7 also looks very much like the 1. This is a wild dice set. I know you all have zero sympathy, but you know, I'll have sympathy for me.
Pokemon has no experience buffs, so I am fighting this with basically 1.5 Pokemon. So I love that this little fire mouse is holding his own. All right, Tom. I know you're a little cooled down, so why don't we just go with play rough, knock it around a little bit. And that's a D8 and a D4. Flinch is gone, right?
Thank you.
Yeah,
TPK, let's go.
Rip it, baby. Slop that down.
Oh, thank you so much for the donation, anonymous. Again, if you did not mean to donate anonymously and you would like us to shout you out, let us know. I'm happy to do so. But if you would prefer to remain safely ensconced in the shadows, I will respect your choice.
Yes,
regardless.
thank you for your donation, anonymous donor who included the message "sympathy for Brendan" at the bottom. Whoever you might be.
Oh, if that is the case, does that mean that luck point is for me?
They did not specify.
Does that mean that luck point is for moi?
We don't know because we could not possibly know who donated because it was anonymous. So they could not possibly testify that it was for you.
No.
What a shame.
And anyone in the chat who says it was me could be lying.
Yeah, we just can't trust it.
There's no way. There's no way to know.
Flinch passes after a turn, right?
Flinch passes after a turn, yes. Actually, this is just a good opportunity, actually, for us to take a quick break.
It wasn't me.
Oh, yes.
I do want to take a quick 10-minute break, and we'll be back.
Sounds good.
Because, not everybody likes to be thanked. Some people get real awkward about it, is what I'm saying. Once again, we come in on the middle.
So thank you all for tuning back in.
Good to know. I will never thank you for anything ever again. That's what
I didn't say it was me. I was just saying that, if you're Irish Catholic, it's expected that you thank people, but then you're going to get this entire conversation, and when they're like, no, and everybody puts off your thanks. But you still got to thank them.
Well, I'm gonna get us back in the game. Thank you so much for the donation. This one is.
Thank you so much. This one is me, though. The text at the bottom is too small to read, so I guess we'll never know what it says.
We shall never know. Oh no!
It goes by so quickly. I
know. Okay.
We could probably
maybe
I don't know.
Put it in the name so next time.
Gets 1 point now.
I might have been able to read it though. I think I'm gonna take that one.
I think that slop that down, dude. Yeah, dude. Crack one for the big
point is for Brendan. I think we gotta count that one. Do we have a separate count, or are you just gonna remember?
I'm keeping track of it. I'm keeping track of it on my sheet, and by sheet I mean this random notebook that I keep all of my life in.
Yep.
And that I couldn't find earlier, and it was a problem. Maybe I should get a better method of organizing things, but I probably won't.
That won't help.
Okay.
But yeah, good to get us back in the game. Just because if we get talking about growing up Irish Catholic, man, this is going to become a very different stream very quickly.
Yeah, we don't have time for therapy stream. That happens
possibly one that will be premiering in a slot coming up, maybe in some time. We can't.
Catholic Guilt the game. Keep an eye out. We're not joking.
It's not a joke.
The entire TTRPG is just like various cultures of like awkward.
Again, not joking.
Not joking. Actual game that is happening. This is not an April Fool. But the game that we are playing in is not Catholic Guilt the game. It is Pokemon Eldritch Horror Corporate Conspiracy Sports Anime.
And we were mid-battle.
Typically.
That's true.
So you won the roll-off, yes? Correct?
Okay. And Tum Tum was going to use Play Rough.
Yes, that's right.
I still have the -1 penalty, just not the -2 for flinching, right?
Correct.
Okay. Then let's roll it. That is a 4.
Our excellent animation budget on display. Unfortunately, 4 is not quite going to do it. Oniguma runs up and they grapple, but the beast just sort of kicks off the ground and into the air. And Oniguma makes a valiant attempt, like just hanging on tenaciously like it did with the skeleton, but the other skeleton, I suppose I should say. Too many skeletons. But this creature just flaps its arms and chucks Oniguma off. So I am just looking at my moves, what I want to do.
Your self-destruct is pretty cool. I've heard good things.
I've heard good things. Sometimes it really unexpectedly flips matches.
Are we legitimately talking? Like, are we joking about the finishing move that killed my husband?
You're not here. You can't hear.
Well, wait, no, the explosion. No, that didn't. No, we had a whole scene. We had a whole heartfelt scene about how that didn't kill Ephraim.
It's true. I know.
I was also like, what happened to Andy?
Yeah.
Like, I know we haven't seen him for a while, but like as far as I know.
Right?
I mean, really, at this point, like, is there going to be any evidence left? Is anyone investigates? Like, what happened to Andy? Oops, I've had like months to clean this entire place.
Heather, stop talking.
I legitimately like that.
This is recorded.
That will be the thing that gets me. My search history.
Certainly after transhumanism, the FBI is in the chat.
That's true.
It'll be my search history and my YouTube watch of like every murder mystery makeup ever. It's just that's what's gonna they're going to convict me on that alone. It'll be fine.
Well, we'll tell you what. Tell you what. If the FBI is in the chat, do you mind sliding a few bucks for the First Nations Development Institute?
Yeah, it's the least you could do.
Right? Come on.
Yeah.
But the creature soars into the air, high near the ceiling of the. Yes, exactly, just like that.
That's not how physics works.
Of the gym. Where it begins drawing in energy. And you start to feel this sort of distinctive pressure. And something about that particular shape of wings and that feeling of pressure gives you a memory. Do we go ahead and roll tactics for me?
Yeah.
Tactics or research, your pick.
We'll go with tactics, because himbo. Research is not a strong suit. Unlike tactics, with the rock solid 1.
You definitely feel like you've seen this move before. You can't quite put your finger on what move
Yeah,
it
just
is,
fucking
but
grip
it
it,
is. Oh, well, thank
grip
you.
it,
So wow,
baby.
we got so
Slop
many
that
donations.
down, dude.
Many donations
Yeah,
tonight.
dude.
Thank you.
Crack
And a lot
one
of
for the
anonymous
big
donations
boy.
too. Again,
From the
if
FBI for Brenton.
from the FBI, there we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We do appreciate that.
How dare you, honestly?
You're not sure if you can remember the exact move that this was, but you do remember one of the missing numbers using this particular technique before, and you know that it's a wind up and that it's going to come down hard. So you at least have that knowledge to try and prepare your next move.
Hypothetically, with the wind up and then coming down, would it have to roll for the launching or the unleashing? Do I know that? Like, mechanically, are you gonna have to roll again?
I think no.
Okay.
I think, yeah. In this case, because the way that I was structuring it, I believe no.
That just impacts, because there are things I could do if that was the case. Sometime it looks like something big's coming, but why don't you just try and knock it around first? Let's see if you can do try to get a little bit of your heat back up. Let's try for a fire fang again. That is a 6.
That will hit.
It's up in the rafters, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I feel like Tum Tum just like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch scrambles just like up the wall and over and leaps onto this thing's head, and again just starts like chomping in with its tiny little flaming teeth.
Yep, just a Tony Jaa wall run directly up there. I'm pretty sure there's a scene in Ong Bak where he gives a guy like a flaming knee to the face. And so yeah, that's pretty much what happens here. The Honoguma goes and does an Ong Bak. And the beast, it's hard to register expressions on its fleshless face, but if it could look startled, you're pretty sure that it would, as it cries out once again in that wrenching mechanical roar. And want to roll off for next turn?
There's a 3.
And at last, as the beast is wrestling in midair with Honoguma, it unleashes the energy that it had been carrying inside of it, the glow that had wreathed its bones in this colossal shockwave that sends Honoguma to the floor of the arena, shattering all of the windows in the gym. Indeed, blowing the roof off of the building so that you are standing in almost the ruins of it beneath this TV static sky. And it returns to not being up in the air and glowing.
How many wounds is that?
That would be 2.
Okay. So I'd like to do more for narrative because I think it's going to have the same objective result. But I would like to spend one of the luck to neutralize that so Honoguma's not knocked out,
Okay.
but is still leaving the battle.
Okay.
And I think what I was thinking of narratively, how that plays out is basically this shockwave goes out and is like pulsing towards Tum Tum, and there's like the wave of like seemingly like dust and force and everything smashing coming. And in the brief second, Shiloh is standing next to Billy, and then all of a sudden, with a flash, Shiloh's gone, and like the wave of force, you just see like a flash of light, and it's almost like an upward cut, and it just, because of that cut, parts around where Tum Tum was, and Shiloh has teleported in front of Tum Tum and like basically cut the force so that it goes around the two of them. But then it's going to kind of nod, and Tum Tum is going to kind of like get up and like limp run back to Billy as Shiloh is standing in the arena now.
Very cool.
I did burn one though, because Tum Tum is still technically conscious if it comes up relevant later. So we're done.
Okay. Ticking the luck down by 1, and Aerodactyl is back on the field.
And with the shift to Shiloh being out, like that kind of like pressury, lean forward, aggressive, like fiery posture, Billy kind of shifts back to his more normal, like kind of posture as he like, I think Tum Tum comes running up and like hops up, and Billy catches him. He even falls off balance a little bit and like lands, but just kind of like, gives him some pets, puts him on his shoulder, goes to stand back up. But as he's like standing up and like he's like, it looks like he like tripped over his boots a little bit, and he like leans down and like goes to pull one of the boots up, but like real quick before he stands up, he looks in at the inner tongue of the boot, and written in on the inside of the boot, which like we haven't highlighted these before, but these boots have always been kind of like a green, like hardy, like nice, well done boot. And now looking at them, they almost have kind of like a military look to them. And on the inner tongue of the boot, Billy just takes a second to look at Lieutenant DeWick written in on the inside of the boot, underneath which is written B. Baker. And then he just kind of tightens up these like a little bit too big for his feet boots and stands back up. And him and Shiloh stare down this Aerodactyl thing.
All right. Let's roll off.
That's 6. Could be worse. Hey, take it. All right, Shiloh. Let's get in there and try and knock this thing out pretty quick. I think you still got one more of them. And Shiloh is going to do a Psycho Cut. Well, to 6. Something for more with a D8 and a D10, but
A six
still
does make it though.
yeah. So I think again, Child does a lot of the movement by teleportation. So there's just like a disappearing, and then it's above the Aerodactyl, and it just slashes, and like the kind of like not really bladed, but the kind of way Galade's arms that kind of look like that like point. It goes right in front of this thing's face, and then there's like a wave of psychic force that just cuts across this thing and slams into it for a wound.
And you watch as the cut seems to almost completely bisect this skeletal flying beast. Its bones seeming to sort of fall from one another in splintered chunks before in almost sort of blurring and refracting in these pixels that hang in the air. It is whole again, looking more whole even than it was before. It has rallied itself, recovered even.
You around?
Yes.
Two.
Not,
Hurrah.
well, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm still doing pretty good, but I don't know. I feel like the die roller is picking a side. Although, you know what, I say that, but the die roller was being aggressive with Billy during the Julie fight. So
Yeah,
Die Roller
true.
has also like previously just turned on us viciously and eaten
two
through
of
our
my
points.
2 of my Pokemon fainted in our
Yeah.
fight last time.
uh,
It favors you,
Alright,
but not against
Shiloh.
Billy.
It looks like it's healing itself up, so we're just gonna have to keep attacking pretty quick. So keep on the pressure. Let's do another one of those psycho cuts. That again. Much better.
yeah, all right.
That is a crit, right?
It's a what is the total? It is a
10.
10. That does not quite crit it because it has a heightened toughness. It is one shy. It is one shy of a crit. I am sorry.
What? So for our reference, how does that impact? So like, Shiloh has 1 higher toughness, has a 5 toughness. So does Shiloh get crit at a?
Yes.
Like, okay.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So basically, for every point of toughness you have above the norm, the threshold to crit you goes up by 1.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool.
Although doesn't Psycho Cutter have a an increased critical
Oh yeah,
hit?
you're right. Yeah,
You're
so
right.
it does have.
It does still crit actually.
Yeah, because it would crit on a 9 normally. Perfect.
All right. So are you just going to go for just 2 wounds for that?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, just piling on the wounds.
And how's that look?
It is kind of just similar again. It is another like there's kind of like a dodging and weaving back and forth. It's like now that Child's in close, it's just moving about kind of in like almost like a boxer stance, like dodging this thing and slashing back. And like every time it seems like one of its slashes misses, and then there's that wave of psychic energy cuts across the Aerodactyl. Oof.
And you see once again this Aerodactyl flying up into the sky and drawing energy into itself. Its ancient marrow becoming luminous with some sort of radiation as it readies another winged attack from the sky as it had done previously. You know that it's not going to hit you this turn, but it is getting ready to, and that it is going to probably hit like a truck when it does. And the sky around it is dark. Darker than it had been. Almost like a storm is coming with its luminous bones standing out like the lone constellation against the black of night. Rain begins to fall against the window of a small building. Inside, there's a man in a somewhat disheveled uniform. His jacket unbuttoned, flap sort of folded over, almost fully concealing the red R on the side of his chest. He's working on some kind of machine. The desk strewn with various parts and napkin scribbled equations. He's muttering to himself about being able to get out of debt somehow. Trying to figure out how to do something to let him stand out. He thinks that he's figured out a way to use this device to get around the embargo on Pokemon being traded from Johto to Kanto. He's pretty sure that he's figured out a way to trick it into allowing the transfer to come through. And if he succeeds, then it'll make him so much money. But only if it works. He powers it on, makes some adjustments, uses the specially prepared Pokeball he's made for this purpose, puts it in the machine, and tries to make a trade. For a long moment, he sees a distinctive Johto Pokeball appear in the machine, appear in the capsule. It's worked. He is ecstatic. He goes to pour himself a drink, thinking of how all of his problems are officially over. Not pausing to look closely at the Pokeball as it seems to pulse. As it seems almost to breathe. Its reticle swiveling towards him to take him in like an eye. The rain falls against the window. The darkened sky slowly fading into this electric static, silhouetting the skeletal Aerodactyl, ready to strike. What do you do?
Is it new round or is it my turn on the round?
It is your turn in the round. I did not skip your move.
Okay, no, I just I got mixed up in the order. So you know that thing's gonna do something big. Just try and do as much damage. Maybe you can stop it before it goes off. And it's going to use. We're gonna use close combat. That is a D8 and a D6. Real quick question. What all can luck points do again? Obviously, we have neutralize and attack, and we have reroll a dice roll. Is that the two main things?
I believe we can also sort of use them. Well, no, that was actually for that's for the commentary ones that we have not really been using. So I think the main things luck is used for is negating an attack and re-rolling. Though there may be opportunity to use commentary in a little bit for reasons.
That is a 10. You said that's not a crit, right?
Yeah, and close combat does not have an increased crit ratio, I believe.
No, it does more damage, so it's a 2 wound attack, but it drops my toughness down to 4 to do that. But
gotcha.
But does an additional wound, and I don't want to risk that reroll because it's not exactly super high. So all right, so we'll just take that. So that's still 2 wounds.
All right.
Shiloh teleports up to where this thing is in the rafters, and this time instead of before where they were just misses with like psychic energy, these are like it is raining down like hits on this thing, like teleport up above and just trying to like slam into it to hopefully knock it off these rafters before it can like launch whatever attack it is prepping for.
All right, roll off for the next round.
Solid 2. Yep.
As it completes its attack, loosing the energy in another shockwave, shrieking down like a glowing hawk and colliding with Gallade, driving Gallade into the earth of the arena, leaving this crackling halo of electricity all around them for 3 wounds.
3?
3.
Okay. That would normally be enough to knock Glade out, so I think I'm going to spend a luck point to not have that happen.
Okay.
And I think it's just a teleport. You said it like dives down, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I think there is just a moment where it's about to hit, and then Glade just vanishes as this thing slams into the ground, and Glade appears like to the side, but it is like unlike the kind of poised teleports before. It's definitely like it almost teleports, like appears from the teleport and like rolls in like a tumble as it just like barely got out of the way of this like slamming attack. So I will spend a luck point for that one.
All right. Here go.
Okay. You know what, Glade, this thing, or Shiloh, this thing is pulling out all the stops. We're just gonna have to keep piling on, go for that big damage. So try and do another close combat, and do a D8 and a D6 again. Ooh, and that haste. So that is a 15.
All right. That does crit.
So yeah, 3 wounds. Just my toughness drops down to a 3, but just piling on all of the wounds. As it just same thing, like it kind of gets back to its feet. And I don't think this is even like a teleportation at this point. This is more of like a desperate scrambles. It just comes running back up, and it's just going for like physically trying to just hit into these bones with its like elbows and kicks, doing as much physical damage as possible.
And indeed, as the two of them struggle in the broken ruins of the gym, as lightning begins to arc from the static sky outside, and this luminous neon rain begins to trickle down from above, vanishing where it hits your skin, almost like you had touched the screen of an old CRT television. And in the midst of this iridescent downpour, Gallade finally stands up from the scrum. The creature, apparently broken down into shards of bone, which rapidly pixelate and seem to scuttle away like insects back into their Pokeball.
All right, Shallow, we're doing good so far. I think there's just one more.
Are you sure about that? You are standing at the gate to the Baker farm, leaning against the sign. Jack is leaning against his moped, looking kind of disappointed. Are you sure? I can't change your mind. I think you'd like the city.
I think I would too, but they need me here. And Mom needs to help around the farm with Dad traveling. Jim doesn't have anybody else willing to take up a spot there.
I know you think that everyone relies on you, and I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm just saying that like it's okay to think about you once in a while, you know? I mean, I maybe I'm being selfish because I want you to come with me, Billy. I really do. I like what we have, but I can't stay. I gotta try, you know? I gotta take my shot.
Yeah, I don't know. And Billy steps forward and like rests a hand on his arm. You can't stay, and I can't go. At least not right now.
Well, if you ever, I know it sounds corny, but if you're ever in the city, look me up.
I will be.
Maybe you'll beat me next time.
I got a lot more training to do before that, but we'll see.
And he leans in and gives you a little peck on the cheek. Stay frosty, Baker. And pulls away on his moped, kicking up the cloud of dust on the dry road out to the farm. And in the dust, staring through it, clearing it, rubbing it out of your eyes. There's a figure standing there. A young boy, smiling at you from the other side of the arena.
I don't know what's going on with these memories and what happened, but let's just get this battle over with. Send out your final Pokemon.
He throws out a Pokeball, and rather than the Pokeball opening and releasing whatever's inside, the Pokeball itself almost seems to come apart in midair. Hunks and pieces of metal and plastic and circuitry all breaking apart into this cloud of mechanics and circuits, components, intermingling with these sharpened pixels in the air, forming this grisly tessellation that almost hurts your eyes to look at it.
Is that even a Pokemon? What? I don't know what that is, but we could beat it either way, Shiloh.
Well, once you feel that pressure again, that almost kind of nosebleed feeling that you tend to get whenever you're in the presence of one of the missing numbers. And if anything, it's stronger here than it has been anywhere else. You almost feel yourself sinking into the floor of the arena like quicksand. In a field, a hot wind blowing the darkness. The headlights of Julian's truck illuminate the spot where the gang and Billy's parents have all gathered to rest their Pokemon and figure out what next, while also pointedly ignoring whatever is going on the other side of the truck, between the Silphco Pokemon trainer who assaulted them and Estelle's Mr. Mime. All at once, while kind of lost in thought, Estelle and Julian, you feel this pressure. You feel almost the sense of everything growing farther away from you. And you feel Billy from wherever he is. You feel him. Feel his thoughts. Billy, what are you thinking about right now?
I think you feel like some confusion because there's like some memories that Billy's still trying to like piece down, but also just determination of like this is almost done and everybody will be okay. And I just gotta not screw it up one more time, and everything can maybe be okay again.
So does this feel like the call and response we were waiting for to start trying to pull you back?
Not necessarily, just that you sort of feel that this connection that you have all developed, amplified by now all three of your psychic, not psychic abilities coming through from the other side. You can feel Billy's determination, but also, I think, maybe a degree of his exhaustion.
You feel that?
Yeah, it's Billy. I don't know if he's trying to tell us that he's ready to go, or if we need to wait. I'm worried,
He's not done.
but he feels so tired.
He can do it. We just have to trust him. He can do this.
Moments I want to use Pokemon things that don't do those things.
I mean, what do you want to do?
I don't know. I kind of want to use Dottler, my little buggy poo. They have Endure. I was wondering if I could use that in some way, but I feel like we're crossing over actual physical planes.
Well, tell me what it is that you have in mind.
So my idea was just like essentially to like we're sitting there thinking of Billy, and for Dottler to just start to glow, and obviously this is just flavor text, but and suddenly Billy can actually feel us back, and the fact that we're cheering him on, and that we're waiting for him, and we believe in him.
No, I think that works very well. I think that the lights of Julian's truck almost kind of fade out around you, leaving the two of you in blackness, with the exception of the blinking lights on Dottler's shell, until you are at once aware, on the other side of this sort of distance that you feel, that stretching of space that always overcomes you in the presence of the missing numbers, you can see Billy. You can see Billy on the floor of the arena, facing down the other trainer. You don't feel like you're there exactly, but you can see it. You can feel it. And you feel like you could potentially interact with it, at least verbally.
I think we should reach out through the connection. Just let him know we're here and that we're watching and that he's not alone.
Go ahead.
I think Julian is going to kind of like try to face the image of Billy and is just going to call out and say, Billy, we're here. We're with you. We know you can do this. You're strong enough to win. You're the only one who could. You're stronger than me. You're stronger than Estelle. You got this.
I think Mr. Mime's standing behind Estelle, like waving his little flag that they always bring to the matches, and she's clapping there, like, yes, go Billy, like, You can do it. Don't give up. You never give up. Don't do it now.
I think Billy doesn't turn or anything like that, but there's just like a small like up to tilt of like a smile starting to kind of creep onto his face, and he just kind of says under his breath, "Thank you," and then looks back up like at the monstrosity that him and Shiloh are facing down.
All right. And then Julian and Estelle, you will also be able to you can spend luck points to use the effective commentary tokens on this fight if you would like.
Cool. Yeah, that's so what Endure does typically is basically you cannot have last wound. But I don't expect it to do that. But
no, yeah, no. I mean, this system explicitly lays out like like out of combat. What can you make an argument for why you think this move should do this thing? And I don't know, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, I think it's just helping Billy Endure now. So yeah, cool.
All right. Well, you want to roll off then?
Yep.
Stop it.
26?
Yep. Well, fortunately, it's not a damaging move. As those vine-like cables peel themselves away from the wall, taking cracked masonry with them, and they crawl along the ground before interweaving themselves into this thing's tessellated form, each one sprouting out into anemones. It bulks up even. And then it is your move.
All right, Shiloh. Let's keep our guard up until we figure out what this one's up to. Let's go with the Psycho Cut again. Yeah. That is a 10, and that does crit on a 9 usually.
Unfortunately, because of its already raised toughness, and then also the toughness raise it got from bulk up, that will not crit, sadly.
Okay, but it still hits for 1 wound?
It'll still hit for 1 wound.
Yeah, and Shiloh, I think, just runs up and again stops just short with its arm swing, and then you see the little like distortion of the psychic energy cut across this thing. And after that, it kind of like leaps back, like it's definitely like trying to be very cautious, and so it's like a run up swing and then a hop back afterwards.
Okay. Now, roll off for next round. is this thing thrums with power. You feel all of the hairs on your arms stand on end as lightning flashes in the distance, and you can smell ozone, the first smell that has cut through the impermeable absence of this entire place. And its entire form, its body seems to expand outward, arcing electricity from these exposed power mains that are drawing energy into itself. This wild charge arcing forth and hitting Gallade for 3 wounds.
Ooh. Okay, so remind me of what the tokens do when we have those comments.
So luck tokens can be used really by anybody, and Billy can also use them to negate a hit, and then the commentary tokens you can be used to, we'll say, negate a successful attack. You can add a previously unknown feature to the arena. You can change an existing feature of the arena. You can create a hazard on the field. You can roll one of your own skills to affect the battle. GM discretion. You can turn an immunity into a resistance. And you can also grant your ally a reroll as if they had spent mastery.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you want to negate it, Billy, or do you want us to?
I have an idea of how to kind of negate it, kind of tying into what y'all are doing.
Okay.
So I think this like big lightning blast shoots towards Shiloh, and there's like this flash that kind of just like illuminates the whole field. And Billy both verbally shouts, and you also hear like psychically shouts like Shiloh. And there's like a pulse of like the energy that like the kind of aura you've seen around Billy starts to glow, and then a faint trace of like energy. Okay with it. I imagine the energy that has appeared around Julian and Estelle appears a little bit around them, as like all this kind of pulls together. And right as this is about to hit Shiloh starts to glow, and this blast crashes into this kind of like glowing form of Shiloh. And when the dust clears, Shiloh's still standing there, but looks different. It's all the green has been replaced with like a bright white. The kind of like Tomfa like arms have stretched into like white and red that almost look like blades. And it has like a white, almost like cape off of its back. And it is Mega Gallade.
Sick. This shout echoes through the arena. It echoes out of the ruined gym. It echoes all throughout this empty parody of Esper Bay. It echoes out across a field where a storm has been gathering, a light rain falling, catching the ear of a young man on a moped on his way away from the Baker farm. Jack stops for a moment, confused. Billy? He looks around, wondering if he's just heard Billy shout something, even though they were just speaking. And he's quite a ways away at this point. When he notices something out of the corner of his eye. Something standing out in the middle of the field. It's a scarecrow, initially. Something still amidst the long blades of grass wafting in the stormy winds. But it's not. He can't make it out, but all at once he knows that it's threatening. A fight ensues. Rain belting down on the both of them, on Jack, on the thing that has found him, and on his Pokemon, desperately engaging with it. Till at last, hair stuck to his face, clothes matted to his body. At last, at the end of his rope and its rope, he pulls out a Pokeball and catches it. But as he does so, as the Pokeball, the light goes dark. Steam rises from a successful capture. There is suddenly no one standing in the field. There is no moped parked along the side of the road. There was no conversation by the Baker farm. There was no lemonade. There was no gym battle. But, Billy, you are here in the arena as the rainbow rain comes down harder, standing across from this trainer that just smiles. And in this belting Sturm and Drang, you see almost its face sort of shift, like you've been staring in the mirror for too long. It looks like other people. You see another young man. You see a harried looking scientist. You see a Team Rocket grunt. And for just a moment, you think that you see Jack.
What are you?
A voice does answer, though it slides over the surface of your brain like a chorus that you can't pick any one voice out of. We are always here.
Okay. Well, how do I make you not be?
Want to roll off for next round?
Six. Oh,
We are always here. In this moment. Pokemon always change their trainers.
You're disappearing there, trainers. Are you like absorbing people? You're taking them away?
I caught one. I didn't know what I was doing. Pokemon always change their trainers. And now, we are always here. In this place. And with that, you see up in the sky these pinpricks. At first, you think it's just another visual artifact, these swollen pixels becoming larger out of the static of the sky, but no. They're objects coming towards you at extreme velocity. Meteors raining from the sky that pelt the ground, both in the gym and outside, barraging this phantom Esper Bay, pummeling every structure into the ground until when the smoke clears, there is no gym anymore. There is no Esper Bay. It's just you and the trainer and your Pokemon in this wasteland. Also, Glade takes a wound. But Glade does not crit on a 10, correct? It takes an 11 to crit Glade.
So normally it would take an 11. I did, prior to my fancy transformation sequence, reduce my toughness using close combat in that last fight. But it'd be super cool for becoming Mega Glade, just kind of reset
having that reset. Yeah, all right. Also, what is our actual luck count at now?
I think it should be 5.
I believe that is correct.
Okay. I'm not saying I want to run you out, but hey, for all the good people who donated, I want them to get their money's worth. I want them to see the good that their donation does on this stream. All right, well, it is now your turn.
All right, Glade. Shallow, let's finish this. Go for a Psycho Cut again. That seems like the best option. That is an 11, and that would normally crit on a 9.
Oh, right. It does not crit in this case because its current toughness is 7, so 14 would be the crit threshold for it.
Gotcha. Then.
But it does take a wound.
Cool. That works then. And I think it's just now we've gone back. So like before, Glade was getting very like run on the ground, like just trying to do like regular hits and stuff. And now it's like back to very like a little bit more posed and like teleporting in to slash and then teleporting back to where it was standing.
All right, roll off for next round.
And just for flavor, I think like the slashes, the like flashes of psychic energy are bigger like than they were before. So like before there's fall, now they're like these extended cuts, and like the energy distortion, it's colored with a mix of like each of our kind of like psychic auras a little bit. So a little bit of like Billy's blue, Julian's red, and whatever color like Estelle's kind of manifests as.
Is it the color of Heather's hair?
I was gonna say, I was like, what is the color of old person chaos? Is it
What
I
is
was
indeed?
purple,
What is
but-
what a question for the ages? What is the color of old chaos?
yeah, like aged chaos? Like I don't.
Aged chaos.
It's like just enough wisdom to get away with way more shit. Like I don't. I don't know
Maybe,
what color
like,
that would be.
a forest green. Like, I don't know, that gives me like ancient Fae vibes, which I tie to like green a little bit. So
That's fair. With like weird strut through of like yellow or something. Chaos,
Yeah.
like crazy.
oh, boo.
Close. And as Gallade strikes through the form of this thing, it seems to sort of shatter like stained glass, like a window. Each of these shards sort of floating out and surrounding Gallade. And it once again fires off this bolt of electricity that sort of bounces wildly between each of the panes of the missing number for 3 wounds.
Gonna burn another luck. And if the others have something they'd like to introduce that blocks it, otherwise I have an idea. But I figured I would also give room if someone else has something they'd like to contribute for how this is stopped.
I don't know. I have an idea. I feel like Billy's might be more fun. I don't know. My thought was that there manifests in the air a giant chef's knife made out of red energy that cleaves
love
it in
that.
half. As Julian calls out and says, "Billy, don't give up."
Like
Yeah, I love that.
All right, so down to 4 luck, and now it is Gallade's go.
Just gonna keep on with the psycho cut. So another teleport, another big dramatic slash.
Oh hey, if it works, it works.
11 again.
Although didn't one of those ace? Didn't the D8 ace?
Oh, you're right. I did not even catch that. I was looking at the 10. All right.
See, I
work with that.
help you too.
Holy cow! Here we go again. Okay, that is 25.
All right, well, so that will crit. That will do
Fucking
a
better.
critting. That will do a critting. So I think that does a so I think a 25 still may actually double crit it, even at a Titan toughness. So yeah, that would be a double crit.
Oh, perfect. Then yeah, just 3. I actually, I would like to use one of those. I'd like to do 2 wounds, but I'd like to use one of those if you're cool with it to reduce its toughness. That's not a natural flavor of Psycho Cut, but I kind of imagine it's just like psychic wounds on this thing as these more dramatic cuts from this energy is cutting into it, and I'd like to like leave a lingering wound that reduces its toughness by 1.
Yeah, I am down with that. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna spend my point of GM luck to negate the wounds. I'm gonna take the toughness reduction.
Okay.
I am not completely robbing you of your super crit. I'm gonna take the toughness reduction. But I am gonna negate the 2 wounds with my oh so graciously donated point of GM luck.
So what What do I crit at this point?
So at this point, so reducing toughness by 1. So at this point, you would crit on a 12,
Okay.
or an 11 with Psycho Cut.
Okay, perfect.
So
Just need to get back down that
what is
magic
this
11.
exchange? What does this exchange look like?
I think because of the reduced toughness, it's like a cut that like cuts into this thing, and then immediately this thing like heals, like it's unaffected. But then when it comes back together, you can see traces of those colors of like our psychic energy, like our auras, intermixed in this thing now, kind of like eroding and like fucking with its energy. Like we've kind of infected it back and put something back into it, reducing its ability.
I like that a lot. All right, roll off.
Three.
Ooh.
Ooh. Try that again. 4.
Maybe. Just that is going to be a... Yeah. Okay. This thing, reeling from this intense psychic assault, seeming like it is barely holding itself together, each of its pains sort of rattling discordantly with one another, it's being stopped from fully reconfiguring itself, fully pulling itself back together again by these shocks of psychic energy, this aura flow that you can see moving like a current in its circuits. But it sort of distends itself, lunging towards Gallade, gathering all of this aura into a single point at its tip, trying to reverse this, trying to forcibly give it all back in a single blow for 3 wounds.
All right, Estelle, how are we blocking this one?
So I think this mist of green and yellow energy comes up, and all of a sudden it forms into a Mr. Mime
Yes.
who very assertively does the
Invisible box. Yeah.
the invisible wall of shielding. That's not gonna hit.
Yeah, and it crashes against it like a wave, just careening into it almost like a fluid. Each of its pieces, its pixels, its glass, its circuit boards, all clattering against it as it tries to push this aura energy through this invisible barrier and back onto you, but it can't, and it's stuck with it. And it's Billy's go. I also just want to say, I will say, all these 3 wound attacks, they are not arbitrary. I promise you. He has previously mostly been using Wild Charge, which is normally a 2 wound plus recoil attack, and he has critted on them. And then this most recent one was Reversal, which gets more wounds as it takes more wounds. And it's doing 3 wounds with Reversal because it is quite low on health at this point, and it can't use Wild Charge or it'll die.
Nope.
We're starting to get pretty low on luck points. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm gonna go for a Psycho Cut.
Well, hear me out. Have you considered beating it? Have you considered winning?
you did just neutralize 2 wounds as a reminder.
Sucks, don't it?
Yeah, so here's 2 more for you, because that's a crit.
Yep, nope, yep. That's an 11. That will crit with Psycho Cutter with its current toughness. So yeah, lay it on me, Haas. What's that look like?
Is this finishing or just?
Yes, this will be a finisher.
Then yeah, I think the Mr. Mime wall fades, and there's like a flow of the cape as Mega Gallade charges towards this thing, and then does the lift up its arm to slash, and then disappears and reappears from teleport right behind it, and then there's the giant. It's 2 of the big slashes. So 1 each direction, like a giant X glowing with all our different auras intermixed as it cuts this thing, and a big X behind Gallade as it does the like samurai slash through thing, cutting this thing apart.
And yeah, it shatters. Again, just like a stained glass window, it is shattered, almost sort of blowing backward in this gust of wind that kind of kicks up behind you. This gale that kind of buffets you from every direction. And this wind is blowing against the trainer as well. He's sort of bent forward, hoodie flapping in the squall, trying to keep his footing. And again, its form is shifting. It's like the wind is almost kind of peeling layers off of him. You see the young man, the young boy, I should say, that you've become accustomed to seeing. You see it fade away, blown away on the wind. You see an old scientist similarly trying to keep his footing, falling to one knee. 42 is blown away. The rocket grunt, looking up at you with a mixture of plaintiveness and curiosity and almost relief. For he too is blown away on the wind. And then for a moment, in the midst of this howling storm, in the ruins of this ghost town, this blasted post-apocalyptic wasteland, there is just you, and kneeling down in front of you, Jack.
I think Billy just walks forward and holds out his hand to like uplift him up.
He looks up and meets your gaze, and for a second, it doesn't seem like he recognizes you. And then he smiles and reaches out towards you, almost touching you. Yeah. Maybe next time you'll beat me. And he too is blown away on the wind, leaving you alone.
I broke everything. Hold on. Sorry.
It's the missing numbers.
I was trying to make it more
they're still
dramatic.
here. You know, we didn't actually beat them. They're in the stream now. Like they are yours now, viewer. This was a creepypasta all along.
Okay.
You're good?
Yep.
Should be.
Okay. Did we lose any sound or anything?
It definitely cut off, but they should be able to hear you now.
Oh, okay. Where should I go back to?
It was with Billy reaching out, basically.
Okay. He looks up at you and meets your gaze. At first, it seems he doesn't recognize you. For he smiles just a little bit and reaches out towards you, almost touching your hand. Maybe you'll even beat me next time. For he too is blown away on the wind, leaving you alone in the rapidly darkening landscape.
I think in the light of everything, you can just see some tears running down Billy's eyes as he walks back to check on Shiloh, with Tum Tum still riding on his shoulders.
And at this point, it is getting very dark. Everything feels very claustrophobic. It feels as though this place is going away. And right now, you are still in it.
Yeah. All right, Shiloh, let's go home. And Billy's gonna put a hand on Shiloh's shoulder and like both kind of lean in and just like think back in the direction of the others, like time to go home, like to see if they can help bring him home.
And you feel yourself moving through the streets. The empty, darkening streets. Your feet aren't moving, but they're rushing past you like you're riding in Julian's truck. You're heading out across the fields, black grass whipping around your legs. In the distance, you can hear that muffled intercom again, repeating over and over. The Safari Zone will be closing in 10 minutes. The Safari Zone will be closing in 10 minutes. Getting louder and louder until at last you are standing in front of a large, derelict brick building, overgrown with these same vine cables, but which seem to be rusting and breaking off, almost as if they're dying back.
Go in.
You are greeted by a sizable group of people, all milling around, talking excitedly. It's a far cry from the listlessness that you had first encountered them in. A number of them seem quite scared with everything that is happening outside. But at last, from the group, Charlie Geller shoulders his way up to greet you. Did you do it?
Yeah, I did.
Never doubted you for a second. Right? I never doubted him. Right? I did definitely never doubt him. I said this entire time, everyone agrees. I said this entire time, Billy was definitely going to save us all, was definitely going to do it. I said that. Everyone here agrees that I did say that. You did say it at least once. Kaz says from the back of the group, shouldering his way to the front. Hey, man. Thank you. I know I didn't do much to deserve your help or the kindness of your friends. But thank you.
It's all right. It's a gym leader supposed to help. Let's go home.
And the light outside finally fades completely. What little you can see through the windows isn't just dark like night. It's like matte black. It's like there's nothing that exists out there. Until you hear something. Distantly. Faintly. It's crickettunes. Opening the door, you walk outside, and you're home. It's still dark out, but it's just night. The sky is full of stars. Far away, you can hear the surf. And people start sort of drearily funneling out of the building.
Go looking for Estelle, Julian, and my Pokemon. My other 2 Pokemon.
And it takes you a while to walk there, but Julian and Estelle, you are able to sense that whatever has happened, Billy is safe.
Are we still at the farm?
Yep.
Do we have a sense where Billy is?
Yeah, I think given this, it's starting to fade, this particularly strong connection that you had in that moment, but it's enough that you can get a sense of where he is.
Then would it be fair to say maybe like as Billy is kind of, telling everybody to keep calm and people are starting to like orient themselves and like the commotion of all of these people suddenly appearing in town again is picking up, the pickup truck pulls up with the 2 of us inside of it?
Sure thing.
And I want to ask you a question. Getting out of the truck and seeing Charlie, does Julian remember him?
You do.
Remember everything?
You're not sure if that's everything, but you suddenly remember a lot more than you did.
Okay. Then I think, this is his best friend, so I think actually he's going to like get out of the truck and see him standing there and is going to like move straight towards him and just like pull him into a hug.
Oof. Oh, wow. Good to see you too, bud.
You haunting son of a bitch. You're real.
Oh, it's the nicest thing you ever said to me.
And then he will let Charlie go, but like keep a hand on his shoulder and will turn to Billy. And he'll say, I told you could do it.
Estelle's just gonna hug Billy and say, I'm so glad you're all right. Like,
Yeah, so Julian, yeah, you did. And then hugs Estelle, and I imagine Aster, and I imagine Aster like kind of headbutts its way into it, and Ling Ling is just chiming up a storm around everyone.
And yeah, everyone in the group hug with the Pokemon circling around. Camera zooming out on an Esper Bay, once again renewed with life. The music swells, and that's where we're gonna end this episode.
Wholesome. Where's
See,
the thing?
we do it. We do it on here sometimes.
We do the wholesome sometimes.
Sometimes the wholesome does happen.
We do the wholesome in between, like, you know, the weird, the tragic. Oh, we got the wholesome place.
Well, that is where we are going to wrap up. Thank you so much to everybody who was watching tonight. I know this was a wild and weird episode, coming in on a bit of a climax here. If you watched, if you chatted, we love interacting with you guys, and especially if you guys donated. We really appreciate you guys supporting the causes that we are raising money for, and I appreciate all of you responding to my various threats with such geniality and grace, really. We are going to be going away, but don't go anywhere. We're going to be raiding one of the many other TTRPG creators here on Twitch. Tomorrow night, I think, as Will mentioned, we are doing Elbow. This is the climactic episode, correct?
Yes, the final episode.
All right, a lot of climactic things happening this week. A lot of the Eldritch Lady badasses of wrestling. You're not going to want to miss that. I think we have the Madigans coming up on Sunday. Is that correct? Madigan's coming up on Sunday, and then it's a class reunion next Tuesday, right?
Sure is. Class reunion's back.
All right. If you would like to know when we are going live and with what, you can follow us on social media. There's our Cursed Bird app handle up there on the screen. You can also join our Discord. It's full of a great group of people, if I do say so myself. A lot of people posting funny memes, talking about our shows, talking about music, movies, everything. We do movie night sometimes off stream. People are going feral over on a couple of the channels right now. You do not want to miss it. If you would like to join, we would definitely love to have you. I think with that, it's going to do some outros for everybody. Will, do you want to take us out?
Sure, I can do that. Hi. Hello, my name has been Will. I have been Will. I've been playing Julian. And thanks so much for joining us. There's a social media handle right there if you want to follow it. It is the same across all platforms, I think. Brendan basically plugged everything. So, stream Academy H on your podcast platform of choice, stream Cryptic Community College on your podcast platform of choice, and come back tomorrow night where I will be playing a hot dad in the 80s. Trying to fight rage zombies and the eldritch forces of Cthulhu in a small town in Massachusetts with a bunch of wrestlers. And that's it for me. Heather.
Hi, I've been Heather / Estelle East for the brief parts that weren't just all of us waiting on tenterhooks for Billy to be okay, because we need to protect the cinnamon muffin. Or roll, whichever.
Cinnamon muffins are also good. Cinnamon rolls are better, but cinnamon muffins are also good.
This is true. If you get the ones with the cake topping, whatever that's called, the crumble stuff.
Now, pizza
right.
rolls.
Pizza rolls.
Dude, no, don't even start with me. Do not.
Speaking
not on the Lord's Day.
Speaking of pizza rolls and or pepperoni rolls and the war betwixt them, you should, if you have not already, go ahead and check out me on Academy H, where I play Stan Tkachuk.
Cryptic Community College.
I'm sorry, yes, Cryptic Community College. Hopefully soon we've got some extras coming, I guess Brendan's saying, once they are made. And then we will be starting recording at a much better quality because it's been like 2 years and a pandemic and we've got equipment now of our second season. So you want to catch up before that and you'll get to see much more shenanigans hopefully in season 2. That's it for me. Thanks so much for donating and for watching and for all of your support.
And I am Liz. I've been Billy. Thank you all for donating and keeping Billy alive. Much appreciated. Everyone's already pitched everything, but definitely tune in for all of that. And particularly the Madigans would be my bias because I'll be there playing that as well. And that's about it for me.
And then I guess it's just me. Like I said, I plugged all the stuff earlier. We do have some other stuff coming down the pipe. I know. Well, we just when are we starting Secrets and Shadows? When is that starting?
Secrets and Shadows started last Friday. Shit, I forgot to talk about that.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I here can't see myself. Table one of a season of Secrets and Shadows, the Regency era Monster Hearts game that JD is running. Table 1 premiered last Friday. Table 2 is premiering this Friday. It is a game of 8 players split across 2 tables that is running for 8 weeks. So this Friday, come back for the premiere of Table 2, which is fantastic. And if you haven't checked out Table 1, you can do that on the VOD. I completely forgot that was premiering this Friday.
I didn't, because that's my jam. The reason I'm not in that is so that I could watch it.
Very cool. Well, then I think it's it is 2. I think it's 2 Fridays from now. I want to say is the premiere of another new game. I guess we've been kind of cagey about it, but I think at this one, I don't think I've seen some art for it, but otherwise we're gonna do it. I guess this is our first official announcement of it, and I'm doing it very badly. So we're gonna be launching a day game. It is going to. I've forgotten the time that it runs. It will be running during the daytimes. More details will come. Will be a day game for all of you folks who like to listen to this shit like podcasts and not do work in the office. We will be there to distract you with our aforementioned not a joke Catholic guild game. Thy Kingdom Come, it is called. It is an Urban Shadows game about weird teen monster people in an alternate universe where the church runs everything, and it's a lot. It's going to be a lot, and it's going to be wild.
How many Nephilim are we talking about here?
I think only 0.5.
Okay, good.
And 0.5 in the PCs.
All right.
Saying nothing about the NPCs because I'm trying really hard to not look in Della's GM Notes channel.
You should.
It is hard.
Well, I think
you admins and your sneaky behind the curtain things. Where your players
I think the covers are 2 new things that are finally coming in to fill out the schedule. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Very cool. Well, then I think right now in that case. So we're going to be going away, but don't go away. We'll be raiding another channel here soon. So be nice. There are also some emotes, different sets of emotes in the channel, in the chat you can use. So be nice. Say hi and tell them that Live from the Apocalypse sent you. Oh, I guess the last thing I will say is I know that the end of the session feels very, very, very climactic. It is the end of a long, long arc in this game, but it is not the end. There is still a little bit of missing numbers.
We still got to do an eco-terrorism.
There is still a bit of missing numbers to go yet. So we will be back in 2 weeks.
Because it wouldn't be an LFTA game if we didn't take down the giant evil corporation.
It's true.
Yeah.
100% of the time.
The brand.
Yeah, it is the brand. No matter what. What are we doing? Destroying giant corporations.
All right. On that note, I guess say goodnight, everybody. Brendan has disappeared.
Good night, everybody.
There we go. All right. Don't go away. We're going to raid Guild Superior. Say, yeah, good night.
Yeah.